Break the wall, break down the walls. Flip over
This is Wrestling Talk Unleashed, the #1 wrestling podcast for hardcore fans. We debate everything wrestling from WWE to TNA, Ring of Honor, and New Japan. Now, let's get into today's show with your host, Nathan Weller.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! I don't know about you guys, but that new opener has got me all fired up. Got the adrenaline going now. Welcome to Wrestling Talk Unleashed. I am your host, Nathan. Today's podcast is going to be about the 2017 Royal Rumble, and I'm going to give you my predictions. Before we dive into that, I'm just going to tell you why I've decided to start a second podcast. This one is strictly based on wrestling news, rumors, predictions from WWE, NXT, TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan. I've decided to do this as a sister podcast to the Real Deals podcast because last time I did some WWE stuff on the other podcast, I got told, oh, that's not real sport, that's fake, blah, blah, blah. I'll take that advice on board, and I'll just do a separate podcast straight for wrestling news. So that's why I've done it. And let's dive into the Royal Rumble predictions. We're going to start with the pre-show matches, which are going to take place before the actual main card. First match, we've got Sheamus and Cesaro defending the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships against Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. That's a bit of an interesting stipulation we have here, with two referees assigned to the match, after the controversy that these two tag teams had in their last match, which I think was a couple of weeks ago. Bit of a mix-up between the referees here, that's why we have two. Ever since their atrocious attempt at their comedy run against the New Day, Gallows and Anderson have been going through a bit of a rebuild phase, trying to get that dominance and aggression back that they had in New Japan, where they were white hot. Since they've been brought to WWE, they've been made to be a bit of a joke. So WWE trying to rebuild them, refreshen them, and make them go through this rebuild phase to get some credibility back. I reckon winning the Tag Team Championships would help regain their credibility, but again, it's going to be hard to undo the damage that's already been done to that tag team. Strange bedfellows tag team of Cesaro and Sheamus hasn't really worked for mine. I don't know if they're trying to turn Cesaro heel or bring Sheamus back to a face, but it seems to have confused the WWE fans, including myself, and I haven't really liked it. Both Sheamus and Cesaro have entered the Royal Rumble match, while Gallows and Anderson haven't been confirmed in the match, which leans me towards to say Gallows and Anderson could win the tag team championships here. Wouldn't be surprised if Cesaro and Sheamus retained. Wouldn't make much sense to me. I reckon Gallows and Anderson need the win here more. That's why I've got them winning the Raw Tag Team Championships. Second match of the pre-show is Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. Well, what a fall from grace Sasha's had. She's gone from main eventing Raws, pay-per-views, hell, even having the first ever women's Hell in a Cell to wrestling on the pre-show with Nia Jax. Just let that sink in. Wow. Nia's clearly set her sights on Sasha targeting her injury. She's looked to put her on the shelf to cement and establish herself as the monster heel of the women's division. Again, with Sasha's knee injury, quote unquote, I have Nia winning the match here with some sort of deal with Sasha's knee injuries, as I've said. Could lead to a fatal four-way in the future with Nia, Banks, Bayley, and Charlotte for the Women's Championship. I hope, for our sake, that doesn't happen, but I could see it happening. Please don't let that be a WrestleMania match. That would be god-awful. But again, not much to talk about this match. I think it's a joke that Sasha's on the pre-show and not the main card. This is your best, or one of the best female athletes you have on your roster, and she can't even get on the main show. That's just ridiculous. As you can see, it's mind-boggling, but yeah, not much to talk about here. I've got Nia Jax winning. Onto the main card for the Royal Rumble. Actually, no, yesterday this match was moved to the pre-show. So 2 Divas match on the pre-show, which is a bit strange. We've got Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and Natalya versus Becky Lynch, Naomi, and Nikki Bella. This match is actually pretty hard to predict for me. It can go either way. I could see the face team or the heel team winning. Since winning the SmackDown Women's Championship, Alexa Bliss has had formed a relationship, you could say, with La Luchadora. Now, everyone was clamoring to know who was La Luchadora under the mask. Well, a couple of weeks ago, it was revealed to be the returning Mickie James. The duo have gone out of their way to try and take over the SmackDown Women's division. This is Mickie's first match back since being gone for a few years. I could see her team winning to keep her momentum and credibility going since she's just returned. You don't really want to bury her. And people are like, oh, she's done, she's a has-been, she's trash now, look at her, can't even win a match. On the other hand, every member on the face team, Becky, Naomi, and Nikki even, have looked absolutely horrible. They need this win more than anyone. I could see the team of Nikki and Naomi and Nikki winning just to say, yeah, we're here and we matter. That's because they haven't done anything else. But if that were to happen, I would see Natalya taking the pinfall and then Alexa and Mickie transferring the heat onto her and blaming her for the loss, keeping their credibility intact so they wouldn't get too much heat for the loss. So, yep, I've got the team of Becky Lynch, Naomi, and Nikki Bella winning this match. Looking at the WWE Cruiserweight Championship match now, we have Rich Swann defending his championship against Neville. Now, ever since returning at Roadblock End of the Line as a heel, Neville has looked like an absolute beast. In my opinion, he's given the shot in the arm the Cruiserweight division needed. Because let's be honest, it has been a failure since bringing it back mid-2016. It's been a failure. The fans don't care. The universe don't care. And quite frankly, I don't think Vince cares. He sees them as midgets who can wrestle. They don't get much airtime. They don't connect with the fans. During their matches, you can hear them. They're just quiet. But Neville has given it a shot in the arm. I've enjoyed heel Neville, who was, as a face, he was bland, boring, couldn't talk. But you could see he looks much more comfortable here as a heel. On the other hand, Rich Swann has been another charismatic personality in the Cruiserweight division. The fans sort of get behind him, but not as much as they have with Neville here. I have Neville winning the Cruiserweight Championship here, only because it's the best move for the Cruiserweight division moving forward. If you want to get people interested, give the title to Neville and he'll make it relevant. And it might make the fans more invested and pay attention to the Cruiserweight, seeing what Neville can do, who's going to step up to the new beast, or king of the Cruiserweights as he likes to say, Neville. Yep, so I've got Neville winning the Cruiserweight Championship here. Taking a look at the Raw Women's Championship match now, we've got Charlotte Flair defending against Bayley. To be honest, this is the match that I least care about and I'm least invested in. To her credit though, Charlotte has represented the Raw Women's division exceptionally. However, her character has become stale and boring. It always seems to be the same thing with her promos, with her I'm the Queen gimmick, and the fans seem to be sick of it, and over it, as am I. Looking at Bayley, I cannot stand her. I have no idea why the fans are so infatuated with this wrestler. Fan, basically, that's all she is, she's a fan. If you looked at her, you would not have said she's a wrestler. I can't stand her. She can't cut a promo. Her moveset and in-ring work sucks. I just don't get it. I don't get why people like her. I don't get why people love her and get behind her. I have even heard and read people say she is the female Daniel Bryan. She isn't Daniel Bryan. She's not even close to Daniel Bryan. That's disgraceful that fans say that. I'm sorry to you Bayley fans out there, but she's not. We saw the Women's Championship change hands back and forth numerous times throughout 2016. I hope that doesn't happen again. I want to have a stable champion who has a decent reign. Maybe not Charlotte, she's had it enough and long enough, but someone. Oh yeah, I hope that doesn't continue this year. I'm already over this feud, and it's just started. As you can tell by my voice, I'm not interested in this. I have no interest in Bayley, and this feud already seems bland and boring to me. I don't care. I don't need to see it. It's just started, and that's only bad news for me, because it looks like it's going to be a long feud. However, I've got Charlotte retaining the Women's Championship because it's a pay-per-view and she's the queen of pay-per-view, never loses a match, which is fucking ridiculous. Excuse my language, I didn't mean to swear, but come on. Damn. Charlotte winning this match, that's it. Sorry for sounding sad and disappointed there, but come on, this feud is just pointless. If anyone saw Raw the last couple of weeks and seen the segments and the interviews between these two, my god, how can someone sit there and accept that as a match, as in a feud? That's just ridiculous. But anyway, moving on. Let's get fired back up here to a match that I am looking forward to. In the WWE Championship match, we have AJ Styles defending against John Cena. Now everyone's going to say, oh, you're crapping on the Bayley-Charlotte feud. We haven't even seen it. Look at Cena. We've seen them have 4 matches. We have. But there's a difference. Cena and AJ have chemistry. They know how to make it work. They have exceptional matches, and I'm sure this one's going to be no different. So I don't want to hear that. I've gone back and forth flip-flop about this match so many times. That's what's great about this match. And the Royal Rumble, in fact. It's unpredictable. I have thought, I have read, I have heard so many different scenarios and plans for either man based off the result of this match. It's ridiculous. Since returning a couple of weeks ago, Cena appears to have a new attitude, a new fire, and he seemed to be a bit more heelish, which is what the fans want to see. None of this kiddie crap. They want to see a bit more serious, heelish side of Cena, which is what they're getting, which I like to see that. However, in his absence, Styles has held down the SmackDown fort. He's made it his show, he's owned it, he's perfected his craft as a heel. It's his show now. The matches these two have had in the past, as I've said, have been phenomenal matches, and I expect this one to be no different. However, I am going with John Cena to win the WWE Championship here for the 16th time. For 2 reasons. One, you can't have the best that you have. Let's be honest. Cena's the best they've got at the moment. You can't have him go down 4-0 in a rivalry. Second reason is, it's been heavily rumored that Cena's going to win the championship and defend it against The Undertaker, who will win the Royal Rumble at WrestleMania. So those two have their match at WrestleMania. I'd like to see that, only if it's Taker's last match. I don't know if that's going to be Taker's last match, though. But if it is, that's the match I want to see him go out with. So I've got John Cena winning the WWE Championship here. From the WWE Championship match over to the WWE Universal Championship match, where we have Kevin Owens defending against Roman Reigns in a no disqualification match, with Chris Jericho hung above the ring in a shark cage. I don't know why that's been chucked in there, but anyway. Here's a feud I'm sure we're all sick of seeing, and just want it to be over. As I said, the stipulation that Chris Jericho in the shark cage just seems pointless and doesn't make sense now that the match is a no disqualification match. I don't know how that adds up there. It's just been ridiculous now, beyond ridiculous, how Vince and the WWE insist on forcing Reigns down the fans' throats and pushing him towards the championship and into major storylines. It's clearly not working. The fans hate it. That he isn't connecting with the fans, and the boos aren't going away. Now, I have seen on the WWE Network, when I've gone back and watched previous pay-per-views in the past, the WWE like to play with the sound effects with the crowd. They turn down the boos, turn up the cheers for Roman. Vince, we aren't stupid. We know what you're doing. And just because you changed the effects with the crowd, doesn't mean the boos are going to stop. The boos aren't going to stop because they don't like Roman. They don't want him in the major storylines, and they don't want him forced down our throats. But Vince doesn't want to listen. Something's going to change, in my opinion. It really does. But that doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon. Owens' championship reign has been criticised and hasn't really been taken seriously. People say he hasn't been the main guy on Raw. Yeah, he's the main champion, but he's not the main guy. People say he can't do it on his own and he needs Jericho. And that's trashing the championship, and that's what's bringing Owens and Jericho down. That they're best friends. That's asinine. Do you hear me? That is asinine. The best friends, Chris and Kevin, are the best thing on WWE Raw. Today. The best thing. The only entertainment that they've got going. Best thing. I can't believe people say that that's not working. In a controversial opinion here, I've got Kevin Owens retaining the championship. With somehow, some way, that crafty veteran Chris Jericho will get involved. Repeat. He will get involved, or, hold it, there will be another interference. Not sure who it will be, but trust me, this will not be a clean finish. And fucking Roman, again, sorry for my language, but that's what happens when I think of Roman. Roman will bitch and moan, blah blah blah, but he's not walking out of the Royal Rumble with the Universal Championship. Kevin Owens is, and he's gonna retain. That's who I've got winning this match. Now, on to the main reason everyone's excited, the Royal Rumble match. We've got 22 Royal Rumble entrants confirmed so far. Let's have a look at the names here. Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Chris Jericho, Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin, The Undertaker, Dean Ambrose, The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, Sheamus, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, Luke Harper, The Big Show, Sami Zayn, Big Cass, Rusev, and Mojo Rawley winning his way in on SmackDown. Now, people have said this is the most star-studded Royal Rumble match, the biggest name-wise. Looking at that list of names, I'd have to agree. There's 8 spots still open. We don't know who's going to fill them. I'll get to that. But looking at who I've got confirmed, it's pretty close. A lot of big names in there. Goldberg, Brock, Jericho, The Undertaker, The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, Ambrose, Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt. Pretty good list there. Now, there are 8 spots yet to be filled, and I'm going to talk to you about some rumored possible Royal Rumble entrants. Now, people have said Bobby Roode and Shinsuke Nakamura from NXT. Cross that out. That's not happening. Their rivalry's just started. I don't see them coming up yet. If anything, it might be Nakamura if he drops the title to Bobby Roode at NXT San Antonio, but don't expect to see any of them. You could see these people, though. Samoa Joe. Joe has been a dominant force down at NXT for a long time. He was the first man to hold the NXT Championship twice. I reckon it's time for him to bring that big Samoan dominance up to the main roster. Another one is Ty Dillinger. Now, Dillinger has become a fan favourite among the NXT universe. A cult hero, you could say. Although not having the same success as Joe like he would have liked, I could see him being brought up to the main roster, but how fitting would it be if he was the number 10 entrant? And everyone chanting 10, 10, 10. Could see that happening. One that not many people have talked about. He's been a bit injured on the shelf. Hideo Itami. He's been at NXT for 2 years, I think. He has been injured a bit, but he does have a name value for those hardcore internet wrestling fans. He's been in the shelf, but I could see him, depending on his fitness and his health. Another one, I'm pretty sure we all want to see this bloke come in. Kurt Angle. It is well known that Angle is going to be making his return to the WWE, as he's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. But Angle has also not ruled out wrestling for the WWE again, and there will be no better way to start his final run with the company than entering the Royal Rumble. As a fanboy, big fan of the WWE, I'd love to see Kurt back in that ring. Another one, Finn Balor was forced to vacate the Universal Championship the night after SummerSlam due to an injury he suffered. Balor has not been seen on Raw since, and isn't due back from his injury for a long time. However, there are whispers that he's rehabbing his ass off. He's doing everything he can to get back. he could have incredible healing powers like John Cena. We know how that works out. Who knows? The Demon King could be back to reclaim his throne. Another one. This one's got everyone talking. Kenny Omega. Now this is a very long shot and little far-fetched, people might say. Despite all this, his name won't go away. It keeps popping up, similar to AJ Styles last year. Who knows? Omega is more known for his work in Japan with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and a member of Bullet Club. I think he's the actual leader of that faction there. The world had eyes on Omega since his instant classic with Okada. Wrestled for 55 minutes. Haven't seen that match? I'm telling you. Go check that out. You won't regret it. He's yet to make a decision about his wrestling future. He sent out a tweet saying he doesn't know what he's going to do yet. We could see the cleaner in the Royal Rumble. But again, don't know. He's under contract. But stranger things have happened. There's been a lot of hype and excitement around this year's Royal Rumble. And rightfully so. Not only do you have the likes of Goldberg, Lesnar, The Undertaker, Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose. Not only that, but this year's Royal Rumble is up in the air. So many people can win it. And that's what it should be. In the past, the last couple of years, everyone's known who's going to win. And we've just watched it happen. This year, anything could happen. Anyone could win it. And that's something as a fan I'm looking forward to. I've got 3 predictions to who can win the Royal Rumble match. I've got Chris Jericho, if he wins, setting up a feud with Kevin Owens. The Undertaker could win. Again, as I said before, if he wins, that would lead to their WrestleMania match against John Cena. And a Smokey. I've got Bray Wyatt. Could be a sneaky chance. Bray Wyatt's been with the company since 2013, and he's been exceptional since. He hasn't had the booking to back him up, but my God, whatever he's been given, he's made the most out of. It's time. It is time for Bray Wyatt to get his push. I would love to see Wyatt win this Royal Rumble. And there we have it. The first episode of Wrestling Talk Unleashed in the books. I am so looking forward to this Royal Rumble. I'm so excited. Not only for the names, not only for the Cena AJ match, but just because the anticipation, the fact that there are so many people that could win this match, so many different possibilities. I just hope they don't let me down like they've done in the past. Let's knock wood. But I'm so excited. I've enjoyed recording this podcast. I hope you guys enjoy listening. Let's see how I go with my predictions. I could go perfectly, I could get them all right, or I could easily go the other way and get none of them right. Hope that doesn't happen, because that would be a shocking pay-per-view. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you next time.